Hi guys, Penny Rose Journals, how you doing? Okay, a bit of a different one. I am doing the live voiceover, if you like. I am doing it as I'm filming. Reason is, I want to show these to you. These are my little books of whimsy. Many years ago, I had a lot of offcuts of scrapbook paper. Obviously somebody had used it, they'd used the majority of it, and I had all these strips that were about this wide and probably about this long. Instead of coffee dyeing it, I didn't know what to do with it, but instead of coffee dyeing it, what I did was stick it to sheets of tissue, the sewing tissue, and then cut it apart into individual strips. So I ended up with a lot of pieces that were like this. So yeah, I had all these little pieces. They were probably twice this long. I cut them in half. So I had all these pieces that were like this, and I decided to make little books out of them. And these are what they ended up like. Now, I've shown how I made these before, so I won't do that again, but I will link the video to this one. So if you want to know how I made these, or you want to see how I made these exactly, you can go and watch that video. Basically what I've done is take these little pieces that are like this, folded them in half, and then hinge them to each other. So this one is hinged to the one after it, and then which is hinged to the one after that, which is hinged to the one after that. And that's how I made the whole book. I just made a big pile of these. I have a box full of these. They are just all tied up nicely, little tiny skinny books, ready to use. And I called them my little books of whimsy. I don't know why, I just did. I decorated them all, put them all together, and put them in a box. And what do I do with my little books of whimsy? Well, they are desk cleaners. I don't do it all the time. Sometimes it's months between me getting around to doing something. Sometimes I'll sit down and do quite a few pages because I'm just in the mood. But I use them to take all these little bits and pieces off my desk that are just lying here, little weird things like scraps of, book spine and little bits of handmade paper and map book and just anything that's lying around. Little bits of lace, say, and just the odd lay flower. These things are always floating around. Yeah, little bits of broken jewelry, whatever happens to be on my desk and I'm in the mood, I will grab and stick in one of these little books of whimsy. So I'll show you this one because this is the one I'm currently working on. It just sits off to my left hand side. I've got a cutlery tray here that has all bits and pieces in it that I use. It sits in there, and if I feel like doing it, I will grab it and just start sticking things in. Now, there's no point to this. No, they're not supposed to look like anything. They're not supposed to do anything. It's just using up stuff off my desk. Paper scraps, fabric scraps, any other scraps. So this is basically just an idea I wanted to show you just in case it's something you might like to start doing. It's kind of like a little journal, I guess, of its own. Just using scraps, you can look back and see how things have progressed, what you've been using over time, because you've got this little physical journal of all your scraps. So this is just a little tuck. This was sent to me by somebody. Gemma, I believe, sent me this. It's a piece of just plastic packaging that has been probably run through a big shot or something and is embossed. So I've used that as a belly band there. There's not much in this one. That was it. I know there's a couple of pages done, just not in order. So what have we got here? There's a little tag tucked in here, and this page flips out. It's a schematic of a ship in Dutch, I believe. So yeah, sometimes I don't do one page after another. I'll just gravitate to a page and do something. But as you can see, they're all covered with this sewing tissue. So I've already got a base there ready to work with, and I just stick whatever wherever I want it. So this is the one I'm currently using. These are two that are finished. I have finished more than just two. I've probably done a dozen of these things over time, but I just give them to people sometimes as a little gift. So I don't have any others. These are the only two I actually have. So as you can see, they're all different. The covers are all sort of similar but different. Similar style because I made them all at the same time. So this one has a little brighter things in it than the other one you'll see. So it's quite sort of, there's bright things and florally things and pink things, and yeah, these first few pages have a lot of things like that. Also a lot of found words. I tend to sort of find found words off my desk in them as well. They don't mean anything either. They're just, oh, I see a word there, I'll put it in. Yeah, so you get what you get. But as you can see, there's a bit of book spine. These little offcuts of jelly print that have all just been stuck down. Anything that's on my desk can go in here. Literally scraps of scrapbooking paper that has been painted on and stuff, and they've all been glued in here, and then I've put a stamp on them. So a little bit of offcut of a hemp ribbon, and done. Some found words. It's a nice sort of matchy pages. Some of them like that, some of them, you know, because I've been doing them both at the same time with the same scraps on my desk, they're quite matchy. Some of them are quite different. It's a little tag, little scrap of ribbon making a pocket there. Tiny little bit of ruffle made out of a side of a book page that's been cut off another one that I've obviously put in a journal. Just a little scrap on my desk ended up in here. Some threads that obviously were floating around. As you can see, these two pages are completely different. They've got some of the same elements, but obviously I had a lot of different things floating around on the desk. This one's very matching. Little pocket there with a couple of little things in it. This is a little envelope. And there's even a little stamped image inside the envelope. So yeah, just depends what's laying on the desk. I really quite enjoy doing these. Zero pressure. Yeah, just sticking down anything. This is broken jewellery. And scraps off the side of a pair of pants. Just leftovers. It doesn't mean anything. It's not supposed to represent anything or look like anything. It's just stuff that's lying around and needs a home. So yeah, I have a little piece of broken jewellery here made into something that looks a little bit like a butterfly landing on a flower. So yeah. Little tag in there and a few postage stamps. Some little reproduction matchbook covers there. Just all sorts of little things off the desk. Again, not a lot of it goes together. It just goes together. So, just a little card tucked in there. Some postage stamps tucked under there. This was a one of those skeletonized leaves, and I put it through my sandwiched it between two bits of plastic. My brain has just left me. Oh my word, that's funny. Anyway, as it was going through, it I've got embossed stuck in my head. It's not embossed. You know what I'm talking about. As it went through the machine, it wrinkled up, and I ended up with this wrinkly thing, plastic thing, and I didn't know what to do with it, so it got put in here as a pocket. So yeah. Again, another piece of book spine, just end off of a cotton reel, piece off of a box. Yeah. anything that's sitting on the desk. Bit of a paper bag. Well, these were little bits of a jelly print. I was using a punch, a lanyard punch, and it was punching out all these little pieces, and I'm like, I don't want to throw those little pieces away, so I just stuck them down on whatever was close to me, and then they ended up in here. So yeah. Little tiny memories, how's that, of a load of jelly prints. So yeah, that's the last page in that one. But yeah, they're quite cool. I really enjoy having them around and looking back at them once in a while. I used to actually put them on my side table downstairs, but my dog ate one year, one time, and I didn't want to do that anymore. It got all chewed up, and I was like quite sad about that. So I actually fixed it. I didn't throw it out. I mean, look at them, they're junky anyway. So I fixed that one and kept it, but probably gifted it to somebody somewhere along the way, because doesn't seem to be other of these. So yeah, I had one quite chewed up, but but yeah, they're just a little bit of fun. There's something to do with the scraps on your desk, and they provide you a little bit of a memory of things you've done along the way. Here's the other finished one. Again, you just don't know as you're going through what you're going to end up with. Little notepad of different papers that were floating around the desk. Some cute threads there just stapled on. There's a bit of that handmade paper, a bit of pink handmade paper. I quite like this page. There's just a lot going on, lots of texture. There's different types of, I hesitate to say yarn because it's very much more textured than that, but it is essentially yarn. Yeah, and I've popped it on both pages, so it follows through, and yeah, the white thread or the white wool here sort of offsets with the sort of creaminess of the Y over here. It just all matches in somehow. I don't know how. I just really like that page. A bit of a doily there, some note paper tucked into it, one of my little fabric scrap piles, just a little pocket made out of a piece of scrap that was on the desk. Just has some little scraps of paper tucked into it. Had a few of these heart sort of items given to me, not really my thing, so a couple of them ended up in here just to use them up. Little pocket and a few little bits and pieces tucked in there. Like you see, you know, we've got a flower, a starfish, a stamped image, and some heart punch outs. None of it makes any sense, but it looks kind of cool. I like it. I think it just looks interesting. It serves no purpose, but it's just there to, you know, showcase the junk that's on my desk. Little memories, little tiny memories. And it does all have little memories to it. I mean, I remember cutting these out and then ink dyeing them and stamping on them and stuff. And I do remember jelly printing on these cutouts that were book pages stuck to a piece of card. That's made some really nice jelly prints actually. So yeah, there's little memories attached with a lot of the things in here. Sometimes I'll pop in a whole piece, like this little gusseted envelope, just because I just made them and I had one sitting on my desk. It's just got some bits of paper in there in case you wanted to leave a note for something. Nothing on them, but... And it has a little tag behind it that's just made out of a folded up piece of paper bag that was sitting on my desk. And some of the cutouts from the hearts. And a sticker. So, yeah, it's just little things. I had this origami paper wrapper sitting around for a long time. So I cut one of the images off of it and popped it in here. That's another part of that. It's just the packaging. Another piece of it. Clearly I wanted to get rid of it. Just a few little things tucked under a bit of paper ruffle. I went to a movie with my daughter one stage, and somebody was giving out little gifts, and there was a few little stickers and cards and things in them, and they made it into here. If you're a fan, you might recognise Sugar from BTS. So he has a sticker in here, and he also has a card in here, I believe. They just happened to float across my desk, and I thought, well, I'm not really sure where I'm going to put those, but yeah. Well, then there you go. There's an army sticker as well. So, yeah, little K-pop references throughout this particular little book. A couple of little tags tucked in the back of this, and it sort of flips out. This was a cutout of a book, just a brochure for a shopping precinct that I got when I was in Japan. And a piece of that origami paper too. So, yeah, little memories here, there and everywhere. Little card just made out of some kooky paper that was floating around. Little stamped image. Again, that's a piece of that plastic that was embossed, has just been floating around in my room for so long. Here's that other card. Again, it's Sugar from BTS. Little offcuts of a journal I've made recently. And yeah, that was part of the cover. Some little bits of ephemera tucked under a belly band. That was made out of offcuts of that the page that image from the Japanese advertisements came off of. So yeah, and this is the last piece of that plastic. It all ended up in these two little journals. This is the last page in this one. It's a little tag, little offcut of one of those leaves, the skeletonizer leaves, and a little swatch of weird ribbon that I had on my desk and I didn't know what to do with, so it got cut up and popped in here. So yeah, sometimes I just use these little books as a use it up place for strange things that I don't really have a place for. So, but now I will always have a memory of. So yeah, they're my little books of whimsy. I'm basically just showing them to you because I wanted to share them, and you know, maybe it's something you might like to start doing. I don't know. But like I say, I did show once upon a time how I constructed these. I will link that video. So if you are interested, you may go along and use that particular construction to make yours as well, if you like. Not necessary. You can do this in any little thing. I just happened to have a lot of these offcuts, made these books, and then decided that's what they were going to be for. They just had no purpose to begin with. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. There's my two little fat ones and my little skinny one that's a work in progress. And I probably have about, I don't know, 10, 15 more of these floating around. So one day I'll have a real collection if I stop giving them away to people. Anyway, guys, thanks for spending your time with me today. I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, maybe you will decide to create some little books of whimsy of your own, which I think would be fantastic because they are loads of fun. I really enjoy them. So, all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you again next time. Bye.